What's up guys, Mega Bleeder here with another episode of Star Technology. As you can see between the episodes, I upgraded our magnets just a little bit to get us some more power, because today we are going to finish our LV circuit factory. It will live. We will not be crafting any more LV circuits by hand, hopefully after this, and my goal going forward is actually going to be to never have to handcraft circuits again. Hopefully, as we get into the other stages, we'll just set up factories to do it automatically. Let's get started. All right, so I was playing around and I wanted to get like the design language set up. So I was moving some stuff around. I did tear down all of the machines that we had here before. So all of this currently is set up to process and make these outputs. So we've got rubber sheets, we've got red alloy ingots. These are set on downgrades. They've got drawer downgrades, so it just holds a stack. We've got red alloy cable, slime balls. This will eventually build up, but it's all basically being turned into sticky resin. We could make this faster, and anything that is a huge bottleneck, we could modify in the future. We could throw down some more things someplace else. We could come down, say, into the basement and add some more stuff down here. If you're keen, you probably see that I did move our latex production. I moved it down here. I'll give you a look at that. So what I did was set up a potato farm. So we've got potatoes coming down here. We are feeding it compost. So we've got the batch composters here. This makes the compost, so now our arboreal extractors are being fed with compost, and I do have them on each side, but I want to say I did just recently see a video. There was something, let's see, I don't know where is that. Evaporation tower, chemical plant, was it latex, was it plastic? There was something in a video. Let me go find it. So I was not able to find it. Maybe it was in a later version. There was a latex processing plant or something like that. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that was removed. I don't know. But we are making latex here. Now it is backed up. Currently we're completely backed up on rubber. We're backstuffed here on liquid rubber, blah, 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 rubber and latex. We've got a full container of latex. So they are backed up. They aren't backed up in the machine. We weren't necessarily net positive, but it had a pretty decent uptime. But I think that this whole entire process, once we're to the point where we're storing like 2048 LV circuits, will be totally fine. So I've got a clipboard here. We automated red alloy wire. We need resin printed circuit boards, resistors, vacuum tubes, and steel plates. If we take a look at the circuit, we've got these. The next one we're going to work on is the resin printed circuit board. For that, we're going to need glue. For both the resin printed circuit board and the resistor, we need glue. So we're going to make the glue, which is just sticky resin in a centrifuge. So this one is pretty simple. We'll grab this guy. I'm going to take these out. We can just add a cable here, smack it down with the centrifuge, and actually we need to come forward one. So we need one more wire because I want everything to be in a line. Centrifuge will go there. We will automatically output fluids, and then I believe for symmetry's sake, we're going to do storage on the bottom. We're going to put our drawers down here, and then the fluid will come off the side. So the drawer, oh, we don't want that. Take that out of there. That can go back in here. I don't think, oh, you know, I can't get up there. There we go. hooking up those. So the export that we're going to want on this is going to be blue. So we need to add inventory hopper here. Get this wired up. We can go across the top. Why not? But we're going to need the resin. So we'll shift click that on there, or not even shift click, just click it. We can add that on there. It's going to take the resin in. Fantastic. It's making a little bit of noise. We can quiet it down. I don't actually, you know what? I don't hate that noise. Could we turn it down just a little bit? Centrifuge. There we go. That way this factory is making some noise. Excellent. Now we'll say you are going to output. Fantastic. And we should also get plant balls from this. But here, I'm actually going to put in all of those. And we can do one more. And this, so from the glue, we get the plant ball and the raw rubber pulp. The rubber pulp in the future, we can either in a chemical reactor or an alloy smelter. The chemical reactor is cheaper on sulfur, but it's more expensive on raw rubber pulp, but we can use that. Actually, it's probably cheaper overall, isn't it, to get liquid rubber? Liquid rubber we could use in the distant future, so we'll just save up a whole lot of that. I'm not sure if we're going to get the byproduct from here, but that's totally fine. We'll take a fluid cell, pop that in there. He needs to be set on input. Fantastic. And we'll change it to auto input. Sure, why not? There we go. There's our plant ball, so we can lock this. Awesome. From here, we're not going to need this right now. Sorry, I clear my throat there. It feels like every time I start recording, my throat's just like, my throat and my nose are just like, you got it, boss. We're just going to like go absolutely wild for you. So I think we are, yeah, we're definitely net positive. We're getting more sticky resin than we are using. Our glue might not be that fast. So we might have to upgrade. We could put down another centrifuge. We could put like another one next to it, or we could put one down here. I'm wondering if we should just do that right away. Because the glue, that needs 100 millibuckets, that needs 100 millibuckets. And it's not being very fast right now. That's all right. So let's see, the resin printed circuit board. What else we are going to need? We're going to use this recipe here. So copper foils and a wooden plank. Wooden plank is going to come from a crafter. So the first thing that we're probably going to do is do the copper foils. So we're going to need a bender. And I should have made everything in here. So there's a bender. And if we take, let's see, we have the glue. That's going to be imported directly into it, into the assembler. We're going to have two things here. The resistor also takes another assembler, so we can actually take two assemblers. And if we export this way and do so the way I want, or take it off of the top, I think we'll be okay here. So assembler and assembler. Problem is it's not going to round robin, and this is going to hold 8,000 buckets. It would be nice to be able to round robin. probably maybe could use a fluid. You might be able to use that. I think that what I should do, honestly, we're going to backtrack just a little bit because I think we're immediately going to have a problem. So we're going to make another centrifuge. I was trying to do it without spending any more circuits, but I just don't think that it's going to be possible. Am I really out of steel plates? I'm really out of steel plates. So we're going to have to take that bender. We're going to have to place it down, unfortunately. We are going to need steel plates. It's going in a bender on 1. That will turn down. Okay, so we'll get a couple of these guys. I think it said we needed like 6 or something. We'll just wait till we've got the 9. I thought we had everything. So I did hook these up also to inventory storage cables, so we can see the red alloy cable in our system. So not just the red alloy, but anything that's an output. So the slime balls, the resin, this red alloy, the rubber sheets. These are inputs, the copper and the sulfur, and there's a robot arm on here to stock these to keep them from being weird. Where was I? A centrifuge. Okay, so making another centrifuge. This fantastic. Still 33 basic electronic circuits. So if I swap these in some sort of way that makes some sort of sense. The way that makes the most sense in my brain is just to put it right here. Because then I can say output. We'll just need to give it items and power and do it in a way that's not gonna make me angry. So connect you and you. Now if we go into Tom's, should just save this recipe. Okay, so the unfortunate thing, we're gonna have to move this down here like so, and also do our routing here. And I guess that's okay because we do have to hook up over here to an inventory cable. Do we have one? We don't. But now we have access to that. We just need to turn off that. Excellent. So we'd be able to see now those plant balls and the raw rubber pulp. We can place down another one of those there, fix that up. Yeah, that's not terrible, I guess. I mean, I hate it a little bit, but now this should be an import. Yes. So, I mean, it's not like lightning fast or anything, but it's twice as fast. Our other option would be like mixing polyvinyl acetate and acetone, or pentyvinyl acetate and methyl acetate. And I don't think we're at a point where we're getting to that. You know, you got to do a bunch of extra stuff: titanium tetrachloride, oxygen. You know, we don't really have that capacity. So I think this is going to be our best bet. This is the cheapest route. So 4 copper coils, which is just 1 copper ingot, versus here, which would be 4 copper ingots, because it's 8, but it's half. so not that we're like low on copper or anything, but okay, so back to what we were doing. Assemblers. The first one is going to be the resin printed circuit board. So we're going to bring our fluid pipe, I suppose, off the top. Now that we started moving some things around. And if we pop that down there, I think that makes the most sense. What else do we need to go in here? It's going to be a wire mill. No, I'm sorry, a bender. And the crafters. Okay. So the bender, which we moved, that was over here. Take those steel plates. And we'll shift right click. The bender we'll put there. It's facing the wrong way. I need to make it face this way somehow. Whatever. Just pick it up, put it back down. There we go. Let's put those away. So this is an assembler. So fluid is going to have to come out of this. We do that. Okay, you're getting glue. You are going to need the copper sheets. That's going to be on 10. Copper ingots. Let's get ourselves another hopper from Tom's. You'll go... Let's see. Are we going to use these copper foils? Yes. Kind of... I'm wanting to store them. I'm not going to save them. This needs to be copper. Right? So hook this guy up. He's getting copper. We don't really need this to be double full. It doesn't matter. Whatever. So this just needs power. Both of these need power. We don't need to be connected to this at all. So we can do this. Connect you, connect you. We will quiet you down. And we're going to need a robot arm on this. And then also a robot arm on these crafters. And a drawer. So if I do this, we'll put a robot arm on this side, and on this side. I am seeing a problem here with that. Okay, so let's silence this guy. So I tightened it up quite a bit here. We've got foil coming in. I need to set this back to auto. Fantastic. So we've got copper coming in. That's giving us foils. That's being connected there. I do have space here to be able to see those. And if we connect just that guy there. Now, in the future, if we did want foils, we would be able to see them. And those do have some different things that they're able to be used for. The chemical reactor, it uses some of it. Now, we'll probably set it up better in the future. I don't know. Maybe I'll just take this off of here and just keep in mind that we are making foils in this area. Maybe that makes more sense. But if we look, boom, resin printed circuit boards. Now, being able to export these in a way that makes sense and gives us access is a little bit more challenging. I could cover up this. Ideally, I would export it out to like right here, because then we can continue our fluid pipe coming over. We do have it set to craft, so let's go ahead and click it. Let's take a look at the resistor. So the resistor is going to need charcoal dust, fine copper wire, as well as some more of that glue. I think what I could also do is use a pump, like an LV pump or even an ULV. I think if I put this on here, I could set it to only have like 100 millibuckets, but I don't know, it's working as is. I don't think it's faster. Let's see, 9800. I don't think that we're net gaining on glue. 99, 8. Maybe we're just like dead even. Maybe on a slight increase. I think we're like break even. But I think we'll be okay. Should be totally fine. Should be totally fine. So resin printed circuit board. All right. The next one, the resistor. The resistor is going to need a wire mill with more copper. Is that this? No. A wire mill with more copper. We're going to need an assembler. If we place this down, we can't place it down there. We could put it on top. I like the idea of setting it on top, because then it's like mirroring this. So we'll do that. And this is going to need what? Charcoal. It's going to need charcoal and fine copper wire. So I think we're going to do it the same system that we did here. I think that is going to be okay. Let's go ahead and wire these up. Connect that there. I think if we connect here, that'll be okay. So those are getting power. This guy, we're going to the fine copper wire does have some other uses. So we should set it up the same way, I believe. So we're actually, because it has two inputs, we're actually going to move this up to here. We're going to have to move this wire. I wasn't planning on this setup being like 100 miles tall. That'll be there. Reconnect that. We were fine with that wire being where it was. We're gonna have to export copper into there. And then charcoal. Charcoal dust is gonna have to come from a macerator. I didn't show you this. So we've got, now we have slabs. These planks, these slabs, and these slabs on AutoCraft down here, so they're just being passively made. What I did here, and this is the same thing for the sulfur, I did increase the sulfur, but I don't think that we need that now, at the rate at which we're making sulfur. wasn't quite exporting fast enough, but I think that we're at a point right now where the tiny sulfur doesn't come in fast enough. Yeah. Okay. So if you connect them all with a wrench, like on the back side, if we take a create wrench here, we can see that there are these little connectors. So you can just do like one import. So that's what I did there. That's got us those. Coming back up here, we're going to have to import our charcoal off of this and import our copper foils off of this. To get our fine copper wire, this is copper on 3. And we're going to need 2 of these guys. We're going to need some more height here. So export, that's going to be copper. I was not planning on this system being like this insanely tall. But we're going to need our macerator to come in here. One of our macerators. Gonna go right there. It'll be charcoal and the copper wire coming in to these spots. So this is set to copper. This will be set to charcoal. We need to wire these up. Not cable. To shift right click, bring those up, copper, and now this just needs wired. So here, nope. Let's quiet both of these machines down. We're going to need a downgrade for this. You are going to, that's totally fine. Auto extract. Auto extract. And lock. Sweet. That's good. Then just a robot arm, another robot arm. Yes, a robot arm, and for the resistor, there's no circuit. So if we, oh, I had enough to do another one. Ooh. So we'll set this and say you are keep exact. Say 8, set it to import. Tell it to shut up. Fantastic. So circuit boards, resistors. Oh, sweet. Boom. Easy peasy. So we'll put drawers. Where do I have drawers at? We need 2 of these bad boys. These X-tones. We are making all the progress that I want. I actually thought this progress was going to come last episode. And do we want to store those in a central one? Because the resistors, they do get used later for all the way through LV and MV. And then, what else was it? The circuit board are just LV circuits. I'm not going to worry about storing them right now. We can... could take that, set this to auto, set this to auto. I am gonna want access to these, right? So we want access to that. We're gonna want access to these. I wonder if the Tom's storage guys, can these share spaces? If we do that, probably not. No, they cannot. We're gonna need access to the back of these from here. That's okay, because that's going to clean up our wiring. A little bit annoying. Trying to see if there's a way I can make that look nicer or make more sense, but doesn't look like it. So now we do that and that. Hooked up to there, and we'll just bring that around. Don't like how ugly this is. We'll do this. Go. That looks nicer, I think. This doesn't need to be back here. If I could get rid of this beam, I would. We could probably use some sort of electric motor, whatever. But we're really close right now to being able to just craft this from our inventory. It's just vacuum tubes that are left. So clipboard, the vacuum tube, and the steel plate. Okay, so the vacuum tube we're going to make in the assembler? No. Yes. Copper wire, steel bolt, glass tube. Because it's the same, but this recipe is better. So this one's going to take a little bit of effort. Right? Because we're going to go this route using distilled water or just water. Distilled water is slower. It's 1 to 4. Is faster, but we get 4. I think we're just going to use water. Okay, so the vacuum tube. Problem is with the vacuum tube, it's going to be, what is it? We don't need that. We don't need the glue. Let's save this. It's going to be a glass tube, steel bolt, and copper wire. Glass tube, steel bolt, copper wire. So first ups first, the glass tube. Nope. First ups first, the copper wire. This one will be easy because we can just wire mill it. And we will just do the wire mill, I think. That's going to be the simplest. Wire mill. These are going to have to go into an assembler. This is going to be a cutter. This is going to be a glass tube coming from an alloy smelter, which will come from not a mixer, but this glass dust is going to be crafted elsewhere. Yes, we might craft this like down here. So the wire mill is going to be the easy part. And I probably should set this to craft the 16. Because I can easily craft it down. The 8 is used. Actually, they're not really used in anything. They're just used for cables, but we're not going to use the cable because of the loss. Well, I guess the 4x is used. So let's do the 4x. Let's set a wire mill to do 4x. So 2 coppers on the 4. I think that's going to be a good call because we're going to use it, and we can set up once again a hopper with copper inside and a pipe. I'm just going to silence that. We don't ever have to listen to it ever again. And we'll use a drawer, a functional storage drawer. Let's just make a bunch of these. Like so. Pop him down there. I'm not gonna want to store like an insane amount, so that should be fine. Then if we auto export and lock, there we go. So the 4x copper cable gets used in a lot of things, but we do need to get it to go down a little bit further to the 1x, which is going to be 2 down crafts from the automated shaped crafting. So there's 2 ways that we could do this. Let's see. If we use the 4x, like I said, these do get used in crafting a bunch of machines. Alloy smelter, extruder, heater, some MV stuff, thermal centrifuge, the 2x, electronic furnace, electromagnetic separator, polarizer. I don't think that we're going to want to craft any of them. Let's see. How are we doing over here? Yeah, we're running out. We are running low. But we are backed up. So let's put another light in. Just for aesthetic purposes. Keep the machines lit up. Alright, let me think about this. Okay, so I've done some conjiggering here. I also set up the steel plates because that was pretty simple. It's actually totally next day for me. But the steel plates, steel rods, so steel plates are, just basically the way that we've been setting it up. Steel going in. It's getting output here. There's an inventory cable connector there. I did the lathe. The problem is with the lathe, or with the steel bolts, I should say, the steel bolts in the cutter would be super awesome, but I keep forgetting that the cutter needs the cobalt brass. So we've got the lathe making rods, and then I've got this system here set up. So it's a crafter with steel saws, and the way that I've kind of managed to get through this is just by creating a bunch of saws and sticking them in a corner there. Hold on one second. All right, sticking them in this chest, and then it's getting output into here. I've got a mechanical arm here setting this to operate, but I got some stuff prepped up that I think should be able to get us to finish this. So if we do this, we'll see this functioning. Right, so it's crafting us the steel bolt. Mechanical arm is going to put the bolt into here. It's taking the saw out and putting it in there. It will burn through, I think it's going to burn through the whole entire first saw. Or maybe right now it's currently cycling through like 2 saws. Not sure how fast it is, but this should last for a while. We can see the crafting use is 256. So these are going down by 1 each time. That one is 6. Yeah, so it's cycling through 2 different saws. So there's a lot of steel bolts here that are going to get made up. That should be totally fine. That should get us through to the point where we get a cutter, and then we could replace this little system here with a cutter. But so that's a problem. So what are you doing? How do I fix this? Why are those going in there? Why are bolts going in there? Okay, so what I had to do, I did fix the chest here, so it's back to that. I had to change the filter, so I used an attribute filter. Let me craft one up, I'll show you. More brass nuggets. So I went and put a saw in here and changed it to is tagged forged saws, and went and set it to a allow list any if it has any of the selected attributes, and then I set it to that, and then put that in there. So now it works. If I pull out some bolts, we can see it's actually going to work now and not get all broken and jacked up. So that fixes that. The kind of last part here, we have 4 more machines that we're going to need. A macerator, another macerator, an alloy smelter, and an assembler. Oh, and you guys probably were screaming at me once again. The cables that I was using were too much. These are 16 amps. I was using the big boy. These are 64 amps. Don't need that. Don't need that. So I went through and fixed all my cables. That way I'm not wasting a bunch of cable amperage on that guy. What we're going to do here is set these over here, and we'll put drawers down like so. For the macerators, we're going to need flint and sand. Sand and flint. The alloy smelter will be set to glass dust. I don't currently have any. but we can cable these up, and the simplest cable will come from over here. We'll hook these guys up. We will silence these awful machines. Our quartz sand, let's get some single upgrades for these. Yes, we're not going to want to hold max amounts of these. These are going to output, and then lastly, once again, output. Actually, I think the assembler for the glass tube, this I'm going to have to do differently. Yes. I'm going to have 3 items coming into this. So this one I'm probably going to have to figure out differently because the basic inventory hopper doesn't work as well as I would like it to. So we'll come back to that in a second. These, let's go ahead and lock those. What we're going to do, I also moved our sulfur crafting to over here. I feel like it makes more sense over here. So to make our glass dust, we're going to need 9 more. 9 more crafters. We're also going to grab another functional drawer. Since it's down here, we'll use an ugly drawer. That should be fine. It's going to go here. And we're going to craft the same way like this. And flip these around. Now for the glass dust, it's all this quartz. We could do it this way, but it's going to be fine. We do need to connect the back of these. All of these and these. We're going to need 2 more inventory hoppers. 1 here and 1 here. We're also going to need more inventory cables. This might be enough. We're so close. It's going to be flint dust. Can I get it through dust? Flint dust in here. And I'm going to need connector cables on the back of these or on the side. We'll put them on the side. So these connectors, and I believe we have a cable coming up right here. So we'll connect right here. Like that. Excellent. So that one's there, and then the other dust. Oh, what is it? Quartz sand. For this. That should fill in there. We could make this a little bit faster, but I think that once it backs up, we'll be totally fine. So that's making glass dust. We can lock that. We're going to need an inventory connector cable for this. But if we can get up here, let's get a view of this. Pop that guy on there. Pop that there. Fantastic. Then if we go upstairs, let's grab another downgrade. because I don't think that we're going to need a ton of that. Over here, our alloy smelter and our ball mold. That goes in there, and then glass dust goes in there. Yeah, look at that. This guy should push out to the side. Fantastic. There's our glass tube. Actually, I should just push that to the bottom, right? Yes. Yes. I should just push that to the bottom. But I should actually use a robot arm. Yeah. So that is actually not going to output there. Take those out. That's going to go in there. This can be broken. This doesn't need to be there. It can just be a cable. Flint dust. That's full. That's full. So let's drop that off. Okay, so down here in the assembler, we just need to insert the steel bolt and the copper cable. That's going to be on circuit 1. So we need one more insert on this. And that is going to be done simply by adding in another drawer down below, or another insert down below. I think we'll do it down here. So this needs to be changed, because we're going to have a drawer here. We can unlock this, remove it. The stack upgrade is going to be correct. We're going to need a drawer there, or a stack downgrade. That's going to go there. So he's already getting glass tubes, and I'm going to need 4 robot arms. We're going to need inventory hoppers on here and here. That's going to break this, but we will make it work. You and you. For that, we're going to need a steel bolt and a copper cable. Steel bolt, copper cable, lock and lock, copper cable in there, steel bolt in there. And then 3 robot arms. 3 arms. So arm there, arm there, arm there. And let's grab a screwdriver. For the vacuum tube, we need 2 copper cables. So keep exact, we'll say 4 import. For the steel bolt, we need 1. So keep extract, we'll say 2 import. And for the glass tubes, we need 1. So we'll say keep exact, set it to 2, and import. Boom, look at that. Oh, yes. And lock that. And we are set up. This is it. This is it. So we can connect these, because these are copper cables. I'm gonna need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we need just 3 more of these. Oh, and we need another hopper. Hopper. Do I have the stuff that I could craft it this way? The gear. 1 more hopper. Fantastic. You. All those. Okay, so let's take a look. Tubes. Those are going here and here. Put that away. What else? What else? What else? What else? Resistors. You, steel plate, you, and you. Resistor. Resistor. Steel plate. Board. Cable. Let's put all that away. Let's go ahead and hook in our inventory cables. And we should have everything we need there. That's all gonna craft into that. We're gonna rotate this, flip it around that way, and then just 1 more drawer, like so, and then we'll go at X tones again. You guys know the routine. Make ourselves a drawer, pop him down there. It does not need a downgrade because we're going to make unlimited LV circuits. Let's fix up this stuff. And it's kind of crazy that this was exactly the right amount of space. So let's see. We need to disconnect this. We need a small cogwheel here and a vertical gearbox. Boom. Boom. LV circuits. Lock that bad boy. Look at that. Look at that. Just look at it. Complete LV circuit line. And the server was like, you know what? I'm going to back up right now. Fantastic. Yeah, that's it. That is a complete LV circuit line. Let's get some lights installed. I made these. I think these could look neat. Let's try it. Is that gonna look alright? Maybe not. For lights, let's grab. It needs to be on the top of this block. So if I were to put one of these. Here? Nope. That and like that. That'll do it. I missed my jump. Come on, come on, come on. Break you. That's set up. Oh, I needed to grab that light also. There we go. Fantastic. LV circuits, completely automated. Look at that. That's a sight to see. And you would think that I planned this out. You would think for me to have sectioned this out from the beginning that I would have planned out this floor, but I did not. You guys watch me build pretty much this whole entire thing on camera, so that's kind of insane. All right, let me figure out if there's anything else that I need to do in the meantime. All right, so the only thing I did was hook up the inventory connector cable in here because I forgot that, and I moved our steel production over. So if you remember, the blast furnace was over here, but I moved it and automated it. So over here, if we check on the backside, we've got an input bus for charcoal, one for iron, because we have unlimited iron and charcoal. Like, there's not really much of a point. This thing is like pretty much full. So, and we are still, like, these are full, iron, copper, these are getting full, so we're pretty much fine there. We don't have to worry too much about being ultra efficient. This does take 36 seconds for an iron ingot, but that's not that big of a deal. We are at a point right now where our one holdback here on our production of circuits is the glass tube, right? Or the vacuum tube, but it's every 6 seconds basically we get an LV circuit. So even just between the cuts and the time that it took me to move this blast furnace over to here, we went from 80 circuits to about 180 circuits. So yeah, that's pretty awesome. And this is like done over here. We've got LV circuits all the way from the beginning, like raw resources. We've got rubber sheets, we've got cables. Everything is just being made. This is a little bit slow, I suppose, on the red alloy wire. A little bit of a bottleneck there, but it looks like it's holding pretty steady. Look at that, 182, 183 circuits. It's gonna take us a while to, you know, catch up to that production speed, and once we are there, the LV circuit will probably be upgraded. Right, so there's that one, your first smaller, better one, you know, upgrading these. If we take a look, the basic, the microchip, you know, getting these upgraded in the future. I don't even know that we'll get to a point where, you know, we need this basic one at all. It'll probably get to the point where we're using the microchip. You know, we just go to like the most efficient recipe. We'll just jump right to this eventually. Probably be like the liquid soldering alloy, the tin bolt, plastic printed circuit board, like using probably like sodium persulfate or iron 3 chloride, the SoC, the system on chip, you know, laser engraver, IV, HV, blah blah blah. You know, this will probably be like our next, you know, LV circuit that we have to do, and by that time, you know, it'll be really easy. Maybe we won't get there because it needs a clean room. Maybe we will. You know, once this gets up to 2,000 LV circuits, which is not outside of the realm of possibility, I might end up putting down like another blast furnace, or maybe I'll switch over to using raw iron. I don't know, but yeah. So this is our LV circuit maker, completely passive. We are using a little over half of our stress units, just because we've got crafters down here. You know, each one of these is using 512. These are using 512, 512 for those, 512 for those. These are all using 512, but this here also having this glass dust. If we take a look at our glass dust, we can use this and we could automate glass, you know, throwing down an alloy smelter. We've got easy glass there, so cool. Well, I'm going to try and edit this video down a little bit. Hopefully I can find time for that. If not, we'll just go upload it as a kind of full stumbling, rambling video. But if you guys haven't already, make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. It makes a big difference. It helps a lot. Looks like we're good on power too. We're not having any issues with this guy creating power, so that's pretty cool. Yes, so please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Makes a big difference. I do appreciate the comments. I do read all of them. I know that there are some tips that I keep getting about being efficient, running recipes more efficiently and things like that. I do appreciate it. There are some things that I do that I'm not, ultra concerned about running super efficiently. I do like to have fun, and one of the things that I kind of like to say that is commonly wrong that I believe with Minecraft is trying to optimize the fun out of things. So this line, even though it might be extremely convoluted, it might be not as efficient, there might be some bottlenecks in areas that it could be made better. Like where's one? The glue. Yeah, we've got a lot of glue. We're not net gaining on glue. I think that we have lost some glue, but that's all good. We're at 216 LV circuits. We batch crafted two stacks of LV circuits. We had a half a stack left when I put them in here, and now we've got almost 4 full stacks. So that's pretty awesome. Once again, thanks for stopping in. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. I'll see you next time.